Alright team, we're in a little bit of a different location today. We are on the Outer Banks of North Carolina and we're going out to the beach just to see what we can see. This is part of, I guess, my new initiative to just go wander random coastlines and just find stuff. Cause heck yeah, marine biology. So, let's do this. I have my chacos on, which means it's adventure time. Let's go. So it's pretty gray and overcast today and windy, and so that's not usually your prime beach going weather, but that's okay with me because it means there will be less people here today and I'm less likely to get heat stroke or a sunburn, because Brianna was not made for the beach in the high of summertime. The other fun part about kind of rough waters or storms, which we're supposed to be getting most of the week that I'm here this week, is that it should wash up a lot more interesting stuff on the beach. So I'm really hopeful it's going to do that. Right now I'm seeing a lot of this plant matter all strewn up and down the beach. I'm not sure what it is. I'll be real with you, my expertise is more in Pacific Northwest coast, like animals. But that's part of the reason I want to do this, is I want to learn. So I'm gonna go, by the time this video is finished, I'll hopefully have identified this species of plant, but right now I don't know what it is. Yesterday when I walked up and down the beach just for fun, there was a lot of looked kind of like grass, like some sort of seagrass on the beach, and now all of that is gone overnight, and now there's all this kind of more greenish yellow brownish stuff out. So that's kind of fun. Just the differences that occur overnight on this beach. One of the big things about the Outer Banks is they're ever changing. Their barrier islands formed by sand depositing just adjacent to the mainland. So every single day you come out here could be very different. Alright, currently haven't had too much luck finding anything crazy. That's okay, we've only been out here for like 20 minutes, whatever. I'm just enjoying walking along the beach and trying to find places where there aren't people around so I can actually film. But there are there's not even that many shells that I've been able to find that have been like in whole pieces. But I just found one, so let's take a pause. Oh, and it's starting to rain. Heck yeah, I got my raincoat, people. Oh, this one isn't fully intact, but here's a shell. This looks like it's from a mussel, just from kind of that blue color, and it's got more white over here. Looks like a mussel to me, don't know what type. Definitely has been degraded over time. Like I said, there's not a lot of like whole shells. Okay, this is kind of a little patch I found. Here's probably some sort of clam. These shells are all related to, they're all different types of bivalves. This looks like a scallop right here. Piece of a scallop shell, and bivalves are mollusks, and bivalves are animals that are in two shells, bi meaning two. So bivalves like clams, oysters, scallops, mussels, these all are little animals that live inside of two shells that typically tend to open when they're submerged underwater and they can breathe, get food, and then when the tide goes out and they're left above water, they'll clam up. Ha ha ha. Funny little animal pun right there, Brianna. Just kidding. Muscle up. Why did we go with clam up instead of like a muscle up, oyster up, whatever? They'll shut their shells, and that traps water inside them, prevents them from drying out, and prevents them from getting eaten. Although, of course, its predators have devised ways to get around those shells. And when the water comes back in, they'll open back up again. This is why often, especially in kind of tidal pool areas, more rocky tidal pool areas that I typically like to frequent or are more familiar with, you'll see a lot of mussels colonizing the entire area, stuck to the rocks. They can stay really stuck on there, And when the water comes up, they'll open up, feed. When the water goes down, they will, quote, muscle up, close their shells, and prevent from drying out. And they stay stuck, especially mussels will often be very stuck to the rocks they're on, and that prevents them from washing away when the tide comes in and out and pounds the shoreline. I think like oysters, clams, and, well, oysters will reef. Also, oysters will settle and reef. I think clams and scallops tend to be more buried in the sediment and don't stick to things quite as much, but I'll have to double check on that. But there's just a little bit of shell knowledge for you. The shells on the beach used to be alive. So exciting. Let's go walk some more. Okay, I believe I have found what I think to be a couple of Portuguese man-of-wars or something very similar to that. I don't know a lot about these guys, other than obviously do not touch them. I believe that's what these are. Class Cnidaria, related to jellyfish, sea anemones. I think instead of being a class Anthozoa, or I don't remember what the class is for true jellyfish. These guys are a class or order, I don't remember quite which level of taxonomic classification, Siphonophora, which means that they are not true jellyfish, but they do have stinging cells, which are very dangerous to humans. These guys washed up on the beach, and they're not from here. I believe they're an invasive species. Gonna have to do some more research on them, get back to you with more accurate information, because I'm relying on what I learned in like 6 years ago in classic zoology. But that's a pretty fun find. Gonna definitely stay far away from these guys touch-wise, but they're really pretty. Also called blue bottles because of their blue-shaped bill. They're pretty fascinating. Let's take another look. Fun find. Again, staying far away from that, but a fun find nonetheless. No idea what I'm looking at here, but these guys are definitely moving and are alive. They almost look like baby mussels or something. A barnacle? I have absolutely no idea. Are we seeing this? You seeing this the same as me? I have no idea what this is. I'm gonna take a picture of it, see if I can try to identify it later. These guys are definitely moving quite good. Fun find. Alright, I found something else interesting. Scared the crap out of me, actually. I think this is a moon jelly. Moon jellies, in contrast to that Portuguese man-of-war that I found back there, are actually true jellyfish. And they can't sting you, so they're alright to touch. Their stinging cells are too weak, or too tiny for humans to feel the effects of them. Actually, our local aquarium lets you touch the bell of a moon jellyfish. So that's a little fun thing to find, just some clear blobs of jelly. Moon jellies, very famously great food for sea turtles that can be found on the beaches here. And oftentimes, getting distracted. Oftentimes, moon jellies very much resemble plastic waste in the ocean, which is why turtles will consume, wave coming in, which is why turtles will consume moon jellies, or plastic bags by accident, thinking they are moon jellies. So keep your plastic trash out of the ocean, people, the best you can. So that's a fun little new thing to find. Yeah. This is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully this edits together in a video that actually makes sense. And I wonder if anybody on the beach thinks I'm a crazy person talking to myself. Yay! Oh, I think I just found another Portuguese man-of-war. They're so pretty, you just want to touch them, but don't do it! So, let's keep walking. Let's do it! I don't know how well you can see, but actually just even walking about a mile away from where I started, this section of the beach is a very dramatic, different texture from even just like a little bit higher up the beach. And that probably has to do with a little bit of difference in wave action, perhaps, in this area. I don't entirely know, but it is kind of fascinating how different just the beach can be from place to place. The waves are grinding down rocks, seashells, other matter, and turning it into the sand you see. And just down closer to these waves, the sand is a lot coarser. You can almost see kind of the tiny fragments of shells that tiny fragments of shells that the sand is made up of. Also, I didn't take video footage of it, but I found another cluster of those little tiny, kind of almost look like baby mussels or baby barnacles that were moving around. So I'm very curious to go look back and see what those are. Here's another Portuguese man of war. Where are ya? Sometimes this camera is a poop face. It's right in front of me. There we go. Not a great thing that they're washing up all over the beach. Very dangerous for beach goers. Again, I believe they're an invasive species, not meant to be here. Oh, sometimes the world be bad. That's okay. Oh, here's some of that grass that I was talking about. I saw all over the beach yesterday, which has now been replaced with more of this stuff. So I need to figure out what both of those things are. I'm so excited to get back and figure out what all this stuff is. It'll be fun. There's another Portuguese man of war. Not gonna bother showing it to you. We know what they look like at this point. Just keep on keeping on, I guess. I guess. I'm trying to leave and I keep finding cool stuff. So I just found a skate egg case, which we'll talk more about in a second. Here's part of a horseshoe crab. So that's fun. Definitely dead. Here's its tail and its back half. Very exciting stuff. But I do have to head back to eat lunch with my husband. So let us walk and talk. And hopefully I won't get too out of breath climbing up this sand dune again. So the first thing I found was a skate egg case. These are also sometimes known as mermaid's purses or even devil's purses, depending upon your idea of cool stuff on the beach, I guess. But these are laid by skates, which are very similar to rays. They are a flat cartilaginous fish, and they lay these very leathery egg pouches in nurseries. These egg pouches are made up of keratin, same stuff as our hair and fingernails are. And oh, here goes the sand dune. And the skate will actually fully develop inside of this egg case before hatching and being big enough to kind of swim around the ocean and fend for itself and feed. Out of breath. This will also help me work on my fitness. But the cool thing about these egg cases also is those little hooks on the end can actually attach to seaweed or other substrates in the ocean, helping to anchor the egg case. And then trips and falls and dies on sand. And then there are even openings in those little hook things that allow oxygen to come in and waste to be released from the egg case. So pretty cool, pretty neat. And then the other thing I spotted was a horseshoe crab, which is not a true crab. Same phylum, so they're in phylum Arthropoda, along with other crustaceans like crabs and lobsters, but they're actually more closely related to arachnids like ticks, spiders, and mites. So phylum Arthropoda includes class Crustacea, class Insecta, so your insects, class Arachnida, so that's your spiders, ticks, mites, and then this is class, I think, Melastomata, probably flashing the actual name because I got it slightly wrong on the screen below. So these guys will actually usually typically stay out in deeper water, but they'll come ashore to spawn, lay eggs. Their eggs hatch into little larvae which swim out in the ocean, and then the juveniles will come closer to shore to live until they start to fully mature. As these guys grow, they will actually molt their shells, and people aren't entirely sure for how long they can live, but I did see one approximate of about 20 years. So, oh, that's pretty neat. So yeah, kept trying to leave and I just kept finding cooler and cooler things. But I am off the beach now, I've climbed over that sand dune, and I have to go eat some lunch. See you later, guys. Okay, I am back from my lunch break, been fueled, back on the beach. I am now walking south, whereas earlier this morning I was walking north. And we're just gonna see what the differences are. I did learn a few things on my lunch break. Sorry, I get distracted. So for one, I learned that things I identified on my lunch break. I learned that the seaweed, the brown seaweed we've been seeing everywhere, is called sargassum. There are a couple different species of that, but just in general, I think the genus name is sargassum. It is a seaweed, red-brown seaweed, that is actually a type of algae rather than a plant, and it forms these gigantic masses in open ocean that a lot of different organisms love to live on or live near, used as a source of food, used as a source of reproduction, or even just a place to rest. If I get a quick shot of it up close. So there are these like little berries almost on it. These are not berries, but these are pneumatocysts, which are little floats that it uses to float around the open ocean. It's not super great when it washes up on the shoreline. Maybe not. This isn't super bad, but apparently it can wash up on the shoreline in tremendous mats that can actually choke out the more native coastal environment, and the animals that sometimes reside in it can sting you. So sometimes not the best, and actually government agencies do monitor when there is a gigantic sargassum inundation event. Oh, speaking of another thing I found out, I think there's another one of them located on here. From the best attempts of my research, right there, that little thing I found moving around on the rock, or the piece of whatever I found, is a buoy barnacle. That's my best attempt to identify it. And these are barnacles, a specialized type of barnacle that don't settle on like a rock, like you're used to seeing barnacles on rocks. These guys, another moon jelly, these guys actually can create their own float or attach to stuff like sargassum in the ocean and just float around and get food and stuff as they drift around the open ocean. Whereas barnacles, which are actually another member of phylum Arthropoda, but in class Thecostraca, sure, why not? These barnacles typically settle on rocks. They open up when the water is over them, filter out the food from the water, and then when the water goes back down during low tide, can close back up, presenting themselves from drying out and protecting them from predators. So I haven't seen, if I find any other more stereotypical barnacles, obviously I'll show you guys that. But yeah, buoy barnacles, pretty cool. Apparently they can generate their own float, which is said to have a similar texture to polystyrene. So I'm excited to see if I can find any more of these barnacles and see if they're actually attached to something of their own making versus something just in the ocean that they found. Let's see what we can do. Got ourselves another Portuguese man-of-war. So I did look these guys up, like I said, on the wave incoming, on my lunch break, and they are in fact not true jellyfish. They are members of class Siphonophora, so they are siphonophores, which means instead of being one gigantic animal altogether, they actually are in fact multiple animals colonially living together, and they're clones of one another. So not one big animal, just multiple animals together living and doing each a separate function. Cut that short because people approached and I got self-conscious. But yes, so Portuguese man-of-war are actually named because they slightly resemble a Portuguese warship. I don't know what that is. I keep seeing these guys too. They're like, oh, I think this is this might actually be a different type of, where is it? Falling over in the sand. This guy right there might be a different type of siphonophore that I learned about, because it doesn't quite look like the Portuguese man-of-war. I will take a picture of it. But they are, instead of being one big animal, they actually live in, I think they're order Siphonophora. They're class Hydrozoa. They are multiple animals all living together in a colony. Each one has its own special job. So it basically would be like if you lived in a small house with clones of yourself, and one of you cooked, one of you cleaned, one of you worked your job, etc. That's how siphonophores work. And their tentacles can actually get up to 100 feet long, which is kind of crazy. They contain those nematocysts, stinging cells that will sting you. Rarely fatal to humans, but doesn't feel good, and they can sting for several weeks even after they're dead. So stay away from them. They are really fun to admire though. I'm going to try to take a picture of this guy, which kind of looks like another type of siphonophore I found in my research over lunch, so I can verify it later, because it looks vastly different than the Portuguese man-of-war, but it is still blue, and brightly colored things on the beach are scary. Best not to touch brightly colored things on the beach. capture some of that barnacle sticking its little feeders out before the wave came and splashed my feet and it. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure those are buoy barnacles. It's so cool. I'm seeing them now more growing and attaching to the sargassum. So that's cool. Learned about a new species today. That's so exciting. Let's keep walking. I haven't seen a lot. Nothing new really since this morning. I've seen a lot of Portuguese man-o'-war, which is distinctly not fun for being careful where you walk and for actual beachgoers. Fewer people out here this afternoon than there were this morning. There's another Portuguese man-o'-war. Probably in part because it is warmer and the sun is actually almost shining, which I think is rude. For me, at least. My skin doesn't get along well with the sun. Whatever, I'm sure people enjoy it. Give me cold, windy, misting weather any day at the beach. Because then I don't have to put on sunblock. Although my Chaco's tan might come back. And that's pretty fun. But yeah, let's just keep it strolling. We all know what happened here. There's a shell, it's got a hole in it. That buddy got murked. My video on why do shells have holes in them, if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. I do entertain myself sometimes. Anyway, back to entertaining you guys. I found more barnacles chilling on here. I don't know if these guys are the same. These guys look a little bit more like gooseneck barnacles maybe. And the other pelagic ones, can you guys even see? It's kind of hard to take a look at. You can see some of their filter feeders trying to come out because there's no water. So they're kind of like, what the heck am I doing? Hopefully water will come and get these guys before they get all dried out. But who knows? Pretty cool. And this is where I turn around for this afternoon outing because this past section of the beach is closed due to shoreline nesting of birds. I got sand in my chacos. Anyhow, so I'm gonna walk back. I actually made a much faster pace walking this way than I did north. Wait, where am I going? I was going south. I'm gonna head back north. Did a faster pace because I think I just found less cool things to look at. That's okay. Oceans change, deposit cool things, take away other cool things. That's why I'm just gonna keep being out here. So let's head back and I'll stop and show you anything else cool I find along the way. Let me press record on this. Found another piece of a horseshoe crab. This seems to be the front half rather than the back tail that I found earlier on the beach. Horseshoe crabs are really cool because their blood is blue. This is because their blood is complexed with copper, whereas ours complexes with iron. Iron and oxygen will turn red, whereas the copper and oxygen in horseshoe crab blood is going to turn blue. They also have these special cells, blood cells in them, that will respond to certain toxins produced by bacteria. They'll actually attack it and destroy those toxins, preventing further infection, which is very useful for us in testing certain medicines or vaccinations to make sure there's none of those toxins from bacteria present, or even recognizing and detecting certain human diseases. And we also learned a lot about human eyes by studying the structure of horseshoe crab eyes. So, random horseshoe crab fun facts for you. This is fun. I'm having so much fun. Let's continue along the beach. Okay, I have summited the dune. Now I'm coming back down, back to the house, leaving the beach behind. So this concludes today's beach walk / video because I got so much content from today because I just can't stop talking about sea life apparently. I think we found some pretty cool things. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about anything I talked about or curious about anything or how you just like this style of video. I feel like it's been very much more casual, just kind of like a hangout with me on the beach, very similar to whenever I drag my husband to the beach and I tell him all of the fun facts about animals. So let me know how you like it. Probably gonna keep doing a few more of these because this is the most amount of fun I've had filming a video in a while. So thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, tell your friends all about it, and as always, keep it sciencey!